Today on Up Close and Personal, we feature Wandia Gichuru, the managing director and co-founder of VivoWare. When the company started in 2011, they were inspired by a love for dance and fitness. But over time, VivoWare has grown to offer a full range of clothing styles, including smart, casual, party, travel, and even beachwear. It's a relatively small company with about 45 staff in total, 5 shops all over Nairobi, with the 6th and the 7th probably being open in 2017. Whereas they started off by importing clothes, they now design and manufacture their own designs. And before venturing into fashion, Wandia spent over 15 years as International Development Advisor and held positions with the UK government, the UN, and the World Bank in several different countries. At 49 years old, she has 2 adorable daughters and also enjoys the company celebrating 6 years this year. Let's find out why VivoWare is so successful, what are her plans for the new year, and what trendy fashion we're going to be getting into this year. Time now for Up Close and Personal. And here she is, my guest. And right before we even start, as you can see, I have an eye problem. But I love this show so much that I decided, you know what, there's nothing that's going to hold me back. I am still going to come and do my job. So if I close it in the middle of the interview, just know it's a bit painful. But good morning to you. And thank you so much for joining us. My name is Amina Abdurrabba. And thank you so much, Wandia, for making it this morning. Thank you, thank you. Oh, that is so sweet. Actually, I kept asking you if it looks so bad, and you're like, no, it looks. I didn't even notice. I was like, you're lying, but it's fine. I like the lie. I like the lie. And I am rocking Vivo. I hope you noticed, and you're wearing Vivo. I hope, right? Absolutely. Yes, definitely. Good to have you on the show. You were saying how it's so early to wake. Your day doesn't start at.
No. I'd be waking up around now and going into a yoga class.
Oh,
that would be my morning.
Oh.
But instead I got up 2 hours early. You do this every day?
Every single day. Wow. Can you imagine? Maybe that's why my eyes like this. It's like, stop. We need to sleep.
I hope you sleep early though. I stay up late, so it'd be hard, to wake up that early.
Oh, you're one of those. We're the same. Nocturnal, right? Yes. Yeah. You work better at night.
I'm busy during the day, so it's my only time to sort of relax, catch up on some reading, check the internet.
Yeah. See what's going on, see what's happening. You're a yogi. So my talkback's not working then. I was talking to you. Oh, okay, then it's not working. I tell you this every single time. When anything happens, that's how you know that it's live. But we're back now. Hashtag is K24 Alpha. We're getting up close and personal with Wandia Gichuru, the CEO of VivoWare. Now, you were telling me that you're a yogi. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, no. I practice yoga. So I started about 2 years ago, and I do it 4 or 5 times a week.
Do you have an interesting story about how you got in? Everyone always has one.
Do they?
Yes.
Really? What kind of story?
Time, I went and my friend was trying it and I saw her doing it and I felt, maybe I should do it and I loved it and it's been 8 years now.
Okay, well, I don't know. I tried a lot of things. I'm somebody who's experimented with a lot of different fitness and yoga's the one thing I've stuck to.
Oh.
So it's working. And I think it's because it's more than just physical. There's like spiritual, mental, you know, it relaxes you. You do meditation and a lot of stretching and things like that. So, and plus, I think what happened actually is I read an article about a woman who's 95 and she's still teaching yoga. So I figured, you know, it's one of those things that you can carry on.
Yeah.
You know, if you run, you have to stop at some point. Your knees are going to give in.
Yes, yeah.
But yoga and swimming, I think you can do till...
Kingdom come.
Yep.
Just until you're like, okay.
Until you're ready to
yeah.
call it quits. Yeah.
That is very true. We do, even, it's so interesting. We had a 75-year-old or a 70-year-old who came with another gentleman, but he's the one who came to the studio and was teaching us how to do yoga. He was like 75. I don't remember how old he was. I was just so shocked.
So did you do it?
For like 40 years.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
So have you carried on?
No, I haven't. But I really, no, to be honest, that's something I'd want to do. Have you ever thought of juicing?
You mean drinking?
A diet.
Yeah. Well, not. I mean, I've done like detoxes, and I have friends who swear by like vegetable smoothies. That's what they have every morning. In fact, I was writing down recipes yesterday.
Oh.
Of some, you know, these like green spirulina and all that stuff. Yeah, it's really good for you. I'm into the whole health thing. I think it comes with age. As you get older, you're like,
I need to be healthy, closer to God.
To be healthy.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. But your skin is glowing. You're 49 years old, Wandia. Yeah. You look incredible.
I'm 50 this year, man.
Are you
This is
turning
the
50?
year. This is the year. Yeah.
The big 5. Are you anxious? Are you nervous?
Bit of both. I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm sort of like, oh my goodness, that's like, you know, I'm past middle age now. I mean, this is
a different...
You're looking at me funny.
No, I'm not. It's my eye. Blame it on my eye. It's my eye. I'm just going to look lazy the entire time.
Yeah, but I'm kind of excited. I mean, I think, you know, I think we're getting younger. I think 50-year-olds today don't look the way 50-year-olds looked 20 years ago.
Very true.
So we're refusing to let go, you know. We're still going out. We're still doing all the stuff that we did when we were 30. So.
Yeah, that's true. I see that a lot. There's a big difference, though, with how 50-year-olds are here and how 50-year-olds are, like, in Hollywood, because there they completely are just still in the short shorts, and everything is really just
I do shorts as well.
You do?
Yeah, I
okay,
do
fine,
shorts.
So let me take it back. Let's go back 49 years ago, though, Wandia.
Okay.
So where were you born? Where were you brought up? How many siblings do you have?
How many what?
How many siblings do you have?
Okay. So I was born in Canada. My mother's Canadian. My dad was Kenyan. He passed away a long time ago. And he was part of, you know, that airlift that Tom Mboya organized to go to North America. So he was part of that group and was studying in Canada and met my mom. So they got married. And my older brother and I were both born there, but we moved back here when I was a baby. So I grew up here.
Oh, basically Kenya.
Yeah.
But then you also went to school in South Africa. Was that before or after?
That was way after. So
so
I finished. I did my primary and secondary in Kenya, and then I went to university for my undergrad in Canada. Came back to Kenya for 6-7 years, and then went and did an MBA in Cape Town in '96. So that's 21 years ago.
Oh, yeah. What did you go and study in Canada? What did you
Economics. You know, I didn't even know. You know, it's one of Canadian universities. You don't have to choose your major till like towards the end. So for the first 2 years, I just tried out a lot of different courses, and then eventually was like, oh my God, I have to graduate. I have to pick something.
Yeah.
So I picked economics.
Oh,
yeah.
You love math?
No.
Oh no.
Well, I don't mind math, but to be honest, you know, my dad studied economics. Maybe that had something to do with it. And yeah, it was like, what will give me a quick credit, you know?
Yeah. And then you got into that. So then you came here. What were you doing for the 6-7 years in Nairobi after coming from Kenya?
So I worked at Kenya Wildlife Service for a couple of years, and then...
Wait, what? Doing what?
Doing project coordination. There was a World Bank project. Richard Leakey was the director.
Oh.
It was amazing. Really, really nice. That was 92 to 94, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I joined Citibank.
What?
So I worked at
Citibank.
Because I don't know. I'm one of those Elizabeth Gilbert. I don't know if you, the author talks about the people who are woodpeckers who kind of like do the same thing and do it, and then they're hummingbirds who sort of flit around trying out different stuff. And I'm definitely a hummingbird. I mean, even what I do now, I don't expect that I'll do that for very long. You know, yeah, it's been 5 years. That's the longest I've ever stayed in the same job ever.
But
like I think the longest I'd ever stayed before was almost 4. And I was like, itchy feet, itchy feet. And, you know, and even now I constantly need a new challenge. Like if I'm not, if there isn't, it can't be the same humdrum. And I just think, why define yourself? You can live like 10 careers in one lifetime. Why not?
That's true. I believe that too. At least that one we shared. Yeah, that I agree with.
Okay. You don't agree with anything else?
No, I'm saying I agree.
Like that I agree with. Don't know about the other
I heard
stuff.
myself and I was like, I hope she doesn't hear that. Yeah, it's true. I agree with everything, Wendy.
Okay.
I'm kidding, but that does speak to me. So you moved from KWS to Citibank.
To Citibank.
And was that, you know, how long did you stay there?
Just over 2 years. My typical sort of...
You're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So you were the one who feels like, I'm done here.
Well, no, I mean, I shouldn't say that, but I'm always open, you know, to different opportunities, and I sort of go with the flow. I'm not one of those who had this like definitive agenda, and by this age I need to have gotten to this point or made this much money, or I'm just like, that feels good. Yeah, you know, that opportunity feels like the right thing to do, and I'll go with it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which comes off very shocking to a lot of people, because when they look at you, you look really good. They know 100% that you have your life figured out till the end. You're like, okay, so at 49 years old, I'm going to open this and that.
Yeah, I wish. No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
I mean, I think I'm driven by how I want to feel more than what I want to achieve, if that makes sense. So I'm sort of like, you know, I want to be excited. I want to be fulfilled. I want to be challenged. You know, I want to feel like I'm making a difference. Stuff like that.
Yeah. And one of the places that had such a big impact on you was South Africa.
Yes.
And it was a really just good moment to, you know, be growing up in. Tell us about it.
You mean when I studied there?
Yeah, when you studied there, and then Nelson Mandela being in leadership.
Yeah. Well, you know, I got there. The year I spent, the entire year was 96. So he'd come out maybe 2 years before. It was still like really positive energy. You know, everyone was so excited about him being in power and all the changes that were going to come. And I mean, I studied in Cape Town. Have you been to Cape Town?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to sort of love it. And I made some amazing friends who I'm still friends with. I just came back, actually. I was there this weekend, visiting a family that I got to know during that year. And they've stayed friends ever since. So.
It's an amazing place to be. And you can't even really work there, you know, because Cape Town has a lot of like very nice restaurants, and it's like Mombasa. Nika Mombasa, for those who have been to Coast, you just want to chill. How did you study there?
Yeah, with difficulty, because you're sort of, you know, you're busy like preparing for an exam, and you look up and Table Mountains and, you know, and the ocean. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. I'm very competitive as well. So I wasn't going to like fall behind, you know, I wanted to do well. So you'd put your head down and give yourself breaks every weekend. You'd give yourself a day off or something. Yeah,
and there are just too many spots to go see, to go do something, and the whole city is just surrounded by beauty and history, and it's just incredible. So you came back to Kenya when?
So when I graduated from Cape Town, I came back and I went to work for the World Bank for 2 years, and then I moved and left Kenya and went to England, and I joined the British government. So I worked for the DFID, the Department for International Development. So actually I worked for them for 10 years, but I did 4 different jobs in the space of 10 years. So in different countries. So I was with them in London, and then in New York, then in Uganda, then in Sudan.
So how would you get these jobs? Did you have to write in?
Do you know what's so funny? Like, no one's asked me these kind of questions for so long, I've forgotten. Almost every job I ever got was from a newspaper ad.
No way.
Yes, and everyone.
So you didn't know anybody who knew anybody who knew anybody?
I mean, okay, so the British government, no.
You just
not
wrote
at all.
in
I just wrote in.
and sent in your...
Citibank, I applied to the ad. I think I knew someone, so I made a phone call. But I mean, I went through the normal shortlisting interview. I don't think the phone call made that much of a difference. So I'm not saying, people say newspaper ads are like the least likely way you'll get a job, but I still think it's worth applying and then, you know, doing, I really do.
I don't even think I've ever gotten a job through the newspaper. I don't know. That is really good to see, because, you know, when you
these days it's LinkedIn as well. It's many different things. It's not just, but I think, I do think that if you've got the right CV and a good cover letter, people will notice you when you apply. So it's not, you know, it's not like, I mean, there's some jobs where they know even before they put the ad out who they're going to hire. But there are some that they're genuinely open.
Yeah, so you just need to try for them. And right now, you know, with the unemployment, you've seen how many people are unemployed in the country.
And I know like when we've hired at Vivo, most of the time we hire people we've never met before. I mean, it's not through a personal contact. We look for the best possible person for the job, you know, and we look at CVs that way.
And you go and you fit the job and
Yeah.
then you get it. There you go, end of story. So then let's talk about Vivo. You know, hearing you going through all of those careers and just changes in life and new exciting challenges, Vivo starting up must have been a challenge for you. So where did the idea come about?
So you know, when I sort of done my 10 years as an advisor with DFID and moved around the world a lot, I was like, I have to go home. I just want to be at home. I don't want to move anymore. You know, it's exhausting and starting all over again. My kids were young and starting, you know, new friends, new home, new school, new car, new city. I was like, done. So when I moved back, I just knew I didn't want to do that anymore, but I didn't know what I was going to do. So I took about a year off. And then a friend of mine and I had the idea we you know, when I look at what Vivo is now, it's not at all what we had in mind. Like, we didn't have a plan, like usual.
Oh, yeah. So Vivo, at year 2, we're going to start this.
So all we knew is we felt there was a huge gap in the market for affordable, fun, activewear. So stuff you could wear to the gym, to dance class. So that's where it started. That's where the idea came from. And we were importing everything. We didn't even know where we were going to sell it. We were like, oh, we'll do it online, get a website, you know, stuff like that. And then slowly the idea kept evolving and changing.
Oh, wow. And then it's just gotten to this point. And it's incredible to see. 80 million shillings was your turnover in 2015.
Yeah, last year was 130.
130 million. Yeah. That is incredible.
Revenues, not profit, though.
No. You guys are just going to be like calling you now. They're just like, hey, Wendy, how you doing? Yeah. No, but that's a lot of money from starting, you know, starting up, and you had no idea. Do
you know what's exciting? What I find most exciting about that is, I mean, you know, obviously it's good if a company is making money, but we're making it in a space where no one believed you could make it. Like, a lot of people thought, yeah, local fashion, Kenyan-made clothing, you know. And to be honest, when we started moving into the whole local manufacturing space, a lot of people were quite discouraging. They were like, it's not going to work, it's too expensive, you know, the quality won't be as good. So the fact that we're dispelling some of those myths or assumptions, for me, is really exciting. And I think it gives other people the courage and the confidence to say they'll start too, you know. And we're seeing more and more designers moving into that ready-to-wear space. Whereas before, I think a lot of people just focused on bespoke. I'll just make, you know, you come to me for something specific and I'll make it because I know you're going to pay me. When you move into the ready-to-wear space, you don't know that someone's going to buy it. You make stuff and put it out there and just hope.
Yeah, and just go,
hope, yeah,
like,
please,
Gord, if you can hear me, someone, anyone will.
So it's a lot more risky, you know, you gamble up front. But I think it can work. I mean, I know it can work.
Yes. Well, it has worked.
It's working. It's working.
How many stores now? 6, 7?
8
stores. And
yeah,
you're like,
and we're opening our 9th and 10th within the next couple of months.
So I actually got it wrong because I said you're going to be opening your 7th and 8th this year. So you're opening your 9th and your 10th
We opened
store.
Our 8th store at the Hub in Karen in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it nerve-wracking? Now that, you know, the company is growing. I mean, this is where you want it to go ultimately. Yeah. And then it does, and then it comes with some new challenges, and now you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, but you know, it all creeps up on you. It's not like you go from 0 to 8. You know what I mean? It's been 1 and then 2 and then 3. You know, I think for me, I take the responsibility of like having a lot of people working for the company. That's big. You know what I mean? These are like livelihoods, people's income and whatever. So that, and obviously you get into huge commitments. You sign leases and all these different malls and things like that, and you've got to pay them whether people are buying your stuff or not. So that can be, but I mean, where's the fun without any risk?
So what are the risks? What are the challenges that you're facing as a business and that you can share, of course?
Yeah. I mean, obviously competition is a challenge, but it's an exciting one. I think we're seeing with all these new malls coming up and all the big space that's available, we're seeing a lot more international brands coming in. I think the fact that the African economies are still growing faster than a lot of the European ones and Asian ones, so they're coming here. So I think that's going to be a challenge, because it means we're going to have to keep upping our game and competing, or trying to compete with that quality, that price point, that merchandising skill and all of that. What else? I've had a huge challenge. I mean, in the last year, I think I've realized how different it is to run an established business as opposed to being an entrepreneur and running a startup. I mean, those are completely different skill sets, and I'm having to retrain. So that's been a big challenge. But I have a great team, and they're very patient, and they hold my hand as they teach me how to be a better leader to them, which is good.
Oh, and they're watching right now. I bet all of your stores are watching right now. Go back to work, guys. Go back to work. There's a customer right there. Go serve that person.
We're not open this early.
Oh, yeah, you're not. But I bet they're all watching.
I hope so.
You've had a chance to work with a lot of notable personalities. You had This Is Us partner with you. Last year, you had Grace Salame, who's coming in on Thursday as Up Close and Personal. She's been your brand ambassador for about, I think, 2-3 years now.
2.5 years.
How's it been?
It's been amazing. I mean, you know, both Grace kind of found us. I mean, she started buying and wearing our clothes and posting about it long before I'd ever met her. And I'm like, wow, you know, she's being so generous with her platform and mentioning us. And so it was sort of a match made in heaven. I mean, she loved the brand, we loved her.
Yeah.
And so that's been great. Sharon, I actually reached out to her just because I was looking for sort of who are the bloggers that, and this is maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I just loved her style. She's very professional. I mean, I don't know, you must have met her. But
yeah, we worked together.
Yeah. So that's been great. And we've had a lot of great support. Some of it solicited, some of it unsolicited. But I think a lot of people are just excited to support a local brand, and they enjoy the product.
And it's really good. So for people who are coming into the market, trying to start their own line, trying to get into fashion, what are some of the things that they should know that you didn't know when you were going in and had to learn the hard way?
I think it depends I think you got to know what it is you're trying to do and who you're targeting, because then you can be specific. You know what I mean? You can tailor your messaging, you can tailor the product, you know which platforms to be on, which people to partner with. I think trying to be everything to everyone doesn't necessarily work. And I find with a lot of, I mean, this is again a very personal approach, everyone can do their own thing, but what we find is it's easier to sort of really try and understand what people want and then give it to them, as opposed to, I'll just design the thing I like and hope that someone else will like it. So when it comes, and again, it very much depends on who your brand is. If you're positioning yourself as a one-off, you know, very specialized brand, maybe you can do that. But if you're trying to get into the mass market, you really need to understand what it is people want and then design according to that, including your price point. Like, you can't just assume, man, this thing took me 5 hours, so of course someone should pay 20,000. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, they'll look at the product and the market will decide what they're willing to pay for it.
Yes.
And what I realized in that sort of middle income space, it's very price sensitive. You know, not everyone can afford to spend 10, 20,000 for a dress. I mean, so we try and come in a lot more affordably than that. Yeah.
I can imagine. And your clothes are extremely comfortable, which is really good to see. How many employees do you have now, including the tailors, who are all Kenyan, by the way?
Yes, of course. Actually, all our employees are Kenyan.
How many?
53, 54 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people, Wandia. So that's your much bigger family.
Yes.
But you also have a smaller family, and your nuclear family with your two adorable girls. Tell us about them.
Yeah, I have 2 daughters. Saskia, who's 11. And Minka, who's almost 13, complete opposites. You know, they look different, their characters are different, so it's a real sort of challenge. Like, the thing you'd say to motivate one won't motivate the other one. So you really have to tailor the relationships, you know. And it's funny, I don't know, you have one?
He has 2.
Yeah, he's only 2, okay. Well, you'll realize, you know, you kind of assume, and maybe it's just me, but I sort of assumed my kids will be like me. I mean,
They're mine.
They're mine. and then they come out, and you know, as they grow, you're just like, oh my God, who are you? Like,
they have
where
different
did that come
personalities.
from? And they have such individual personalities. Like they shock you all the time with what excites them, what doesn't. You know,
what they say,
what they do. So it's fun. It's a journey, though. I mean, I must say that when I thought about having kids, I don't know. I think I had a very romanticized view of this. I thought it was all going to just be hugs and kisses, and now I realize it's probably one of my most challenging roles.
Yeah. Oh wait. First of all, you just said romanticized, and I remembered that you are a hopeless romantic.
Oh gosh.
Why are you laughing?
Oh, because that was. Did you see that in some interview?
I did.
Yeah.
Hopeless romantic, Wandia Gichuru.
Oh my God! I mean you know, when the article came out and I saw the headline, I'm like, what? Where did that? Am I a hopeless romantic? I guess I am. I mean, I really. Yeah, I love love. I love everything to do with love, and I love love stories. I read romantic novel. I read a lot, not just romantic novels.
And True Love, which I'm on by the go by it.
Yay, I saw that's gorgeous. I love that beautiful gown that you're in. I do. I enjoy all that. I get excited.
Yeah, but you seem like a very happy-go-lucky person. Is this something that you have to work on, or you've always just been, you know, looking at the glass half full as opposed to half empty kind of person?
I think maybe, I'm probably more that way by nature. Like, I hate regret.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's done, it's done. You know, learn from it, move on. Every day is a new chance. You can reinvent yourself. You can, and maybe as I get older as well, this is the crisis of turning 50. I'm just like, time. It doesn't come back. Like, so of course I go through my ups and downs, but like being miserable, it just feels like a wasted time.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, Wendy Williams turned 50 last year. She says one of the things that she's learned with growing older is that you actually just don't care about a lot of things that you used to care about before. Now, reading some of those articles that you've done, not the one you were a hopeless romantic, but another one, you talked about how you at one point struggled with having people like you, and you would go on to do so many things that you didn't necessarily agree with, just so that you can make, you know, somebody, you know, be your friend or like you, whatever. So you don't bother with that anymore, right?
You know, I'd be lying if I said I didn't care at all. I think, you know, it's still nice when people like you, and it sort of hurts when they don't. But I care a lot less about general perception. I mean, I think you have your core, you know, like your closest people, and when I do something that upsets them, I care deeply. You know what I mean? Like, and it happens. And luckily, I mean, I have a really, really close circle of girlfriends in particular, and we've gotten to the point now that we can tell each other, you know, so they can say, by the way, Wandia, when you said that, this is how it made me feel, and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, but I'm so happy you could tell me. So at that level, of course I care. I care when I upset my kids, or when I upset my mother, or, you know, but I'm less concerned about what people who don't know me think, because I'm like, you've made a set of assumptions, and you know, if you wanted to get to know me better, maybe that would change. But
yeah, that is true. Has your story ever gone through a bad press moment, or really, what happened?
Oh gosh, well, one time last year, I think we did this campaign. It was actually on social media, not in a store, but we ran a campaign on Facebook and on Instagram, and we were trying to get a bunch of girlfriends. Select a group of girlfriends and we'd celebrate them, because we discovered there's something called International Girlfriends Day. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Anyway,
now I know.
Now you know.
Celebrated that
it's
day.
sometime, I think it's the 1st of August or something like that. So we wanted to select one group and then have them, treat them to like a really special day at Garden City Mall. So we ran it on both, but we didn't tell people it was on both. So the people on Facebook just knew it was on Facebook, and the people on Instagram, and then the group we selected was from Instagram. And so the Facebook people were like, who are these women? You're rigging.
They're not here.
They're not here. You've just gone and picked some random group of women. And
us.
so there was such a backlash. I was like, oh my God, that wasn't the intention at all. So it was a lesson. We apologized profusely, and I think we tried. I don't remember how we tried to fix it, but yeah, of course you have. And there have been other incidences where, I mean, with social media now, it takes one unhappy client.
One. Oh my God, to bring down a brand.
To like rant and rave, and the whole thing starts. So I think the exposure is amazing, and I think the cost benefit works out for you. I mean, the benefit of having people who've never actually been inside your store get to see your product, hear about your brand. I think that's great, but it also means you've got to be super on top of things.
Yeah.
And there will always be mistakes. I mean, there's no perfect scenario. But what we try and do is sort of, as soon as we see something that's wrong, like try and resolve it, try and reach out, apologize, try and fix it, and hopefully turn that situation around.
Yeah. Wow, because I've seen so many companies, airlines, online, just and they go down, like sales go down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, it's insane. I wish I could talk about them, but then I get into trouble. So let's take a look at some of your pictures. This is our TBT section. And then you could tell us what was going on in that image. Where were you?
Oh,
Who are
really?
the people who are going to be a part of the picture? So let's take a look at them. The first one, OMG. Who's that guy? I'm not sure who he is. He seems very, very familiar. Here it is, right close to us.
Highlight of 2015. Trust me.
Oh my gosh. Look at you. Why are you?
I'm about to burst into tears. I'm so excited. I'm a huge Obama fan till today.
Oh my
Like
God.
half my page is like an ode to Obama. It's like, I love him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How
So
was that?
This was a dream come
Did you wash
true.
your hands for like a few days? Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Who even
very
took
exciting.
this picture? That was so
It was Pete Souza.
Oh, yeah?
Like his photographer, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so dope. That's so dope.
amazing.
And this is also another big moment.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, to be honest, I was called in for this meeting. We didn't even know he was in the country or that we were going to meet him.
Wait,
So-
this was at NILAB.
It was at iHub, yeah.
Oh, iHub, sorry.
In one of the, can't remember, in one of the meeting rooms or whatever. And we thought we were meeting with the Facebook head of Africa. And then he walks in about 20 minutes before and said, actually, it's not me you're meeting with. You're going to meet with Mark. So I'm like, really? What's he, And then he gave us like 45 minutes of his time.
First of all, pause it right there. Okay, fine, it's gone. But for the people who don't know, that is Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, CEO and founder of Facebook. He's the youngest billionaire in the world, self-made, which is it's incredible.
And he was really down to earth.
Oh yeah?
He sat there and he's like, I'm here to listen, guys. You tell me. I want to hear about your experiences and what's going on in this part of the world and da-da-da-da-da. And he'd never been to Africa before, so it was very cool.
Yeah. So you were just like, do you want to wear a Vivo sweater? Take it, please. All right, so where is this? Who are these guys?
This is at Tangaza University. I don't remember their names, but I was a judge of listening to business proposals. And they had developed, they're Ugandan, they had an amazing story. They had developed a way of testing for malaria without taking blood.
Oh, okay.
And so, I mean, they won the challenge, and it was just an incredible product, and I hope it makes it to the market.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
And then let's take a look at the next picture. Oh, and there you are, you're working your short hair.
Yeah, I think I had just cut it.
Oh, yeah. Were you nervous when you first got there? You go again. Was this last year?
This was at an event for the fashion community. I think Hivos and East African Trade Hub and a couple of others had done this big research into what are the challenges and facing the fashion community, and they'd come up with a whole bunch of recommendations. And Equity Bank actually developed a product which would where they could lend money specifically to the fashion sector. So I was on one of the panels.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you've been on so many other panels as well. And every time you get called on, do you get surprised that, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be sharing my story and again going back to I look like I have it all together, people, but I don't. But it's fine.
I think I've realized that first of all, which is something you put a plug in, I'm going to put a plug in. People need to tell their stories more. I think the reason people keep coming back to the same ones is because a lot of people are shy or nervous or reluctant to get out there and tell their stories. So, yes, the few of us who are willing to just keep getting called back and back. But I really think that in a country like this where a lot of people don't necessarily have access to direct role models or people who have, you know, interesting stories that they can share and inspire them, then more of us need to do it. So I'm always happy. I'm like, sometimes surprised, and sometimes I'm sitting next to people, I'm like, wow, how did I get on a panel with you? Like, I'm not, you know, we're not on the same level. You're so far ahead of me, but I mean, that's life, yeah.
It is what it is, and it's fine, and I'm doing it. So let's talk about fashion.
Yes.
First of all, was there a reason why you cut your hair, or was you just one day randomly decided
So I had processed hair like for almost 30 years, and then about 5 years ago, one day I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I can't do this chemical thing anymore, and so I just shaved it off, and I grew it out naturally, and it grew and grew and grew, but it just got bushier and more unmanageable. So this is just, I just did it again. I just cut it off again, but it's not, the first time I cut it, I think was the big deal.
Yeah.
And then then I realized that there was this whole movement around natural hair and all these different products and styles, and so I got really into it. And now it's just normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks really good. I have to say that.
Thank
So what are
you.
people getting into now that it's fashion? And also, I've just seen a tweet, someone asking, how is a World Bank executive now doing fashion? LOL, LOL. But anyway, so what are people getting into now?
What do you mean, like what trends
Like
and
what
things
trends
like
are-
that?
yeah,
Oh my
2017.
gosh. You know, we're not a very trend-driven store. But so to be honest, I'm not even going to try and answer that question.
Oh, because you don't even know. You're just like, I don't know, we're just going to make nice clothes.
And yeah, and I think what I like about what we do is we're not worried so much about what's happening internationally, and we're just sort of looking at, well, what works for this market. And I think that's the part of the Vivo story I love the most, because for the longest time, and still till now, I think a lot of people in this country and in this part of the world, we don't wear our stuff. We wear hand-me-downs from the West and Chinese imports, and it's like, you know, enough. Like, we deserve designs that are made for us, that suit us, that complement our skin tones and our body shapes and our lifestyles. And so that's what excites me. And we're probably less daring, we're slightly more conservative than what you might find in other parts of the world, and that's okay.
But that's who we are.
That's who we
are you ever
are.
going to get into men's fashion? Or no?
I never say never, who knows?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's true.
you
Maybe
never-
after 5-7 years, no, after like 7 years, you're going to be
Yes.
like, done.
Done.
Next challenge. Thank you so much, Wandia. Thank you so much, Wandia. You have a lot of people watching, all of the 53 families who you're feeding right about now.
I hope so.
You know,
I hope so.
And I always end every interview by asking the interviewee, what is that one thing you want to be remembered for? The legacy you want to leave behind for your kids, your family, your employees?
Wow. I think if anything I do or anyone I touch or come across or whatever, if I can be part of helping them be stepping into their power and becoming more of who they are and achieving what they want to do, I think that's really what I'm about. Sort of everyone has this amazing potential, and some of us struggle to sort of break through some of the obstacles that mostly we put in our own heads, you know what I mean? So you know, whether it's because you're my friend or you're a colleague or you're somebody that I have a conversation with, you know, it's like I'm always hoping that any interaction we have leaves you feeling more positive and more believe more in the opportunities and possibilities of what's ahead for you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I should have started by asking you this, but is there any relation to Julie Gichuru?
Not at
'Cause of
all.
that- Do you get that a lot, though? You do?
Not that much, but I
But
think,
people
you know,
ask.
that's her husband's name. So,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and I'm not even related to him. So Gichuru is from different parts of the country, and I
Yeah.
think my father's
right.
from Nyeri, and I don't know where his is from.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right, that's cleared up.
Yeah.
That's fine. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
Wandia Gichuru. Make sure that you go and check out Vivo, even if you're not going to buy it, and support Kenyan. Support KE. Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. And buy it. Support KE. My eye has a problem. If you just started watching and you're wondering, Amina, did you have a fight over the weekend? I didn't. It's called, I think, Ombatata. I'm not sure. If you have any remedies, let me know on Twitter at Amina_Kenya. I'll go try it. The garlic, I'll pour milk, I'll pour whatever needs to be poured on my eye because it needs to get back to normal.